Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling. Thank you very much for spending some time with me today and checking out today's video. It's always much appreciated. Today we're going to be talking about how you missed out on the big bait party, and I'm going to talk. We've talked a little bit about big baits in the past, but I'm going to sort of give you guys maybe some of the reasons that you're either not fishing them or you struggled if you tried it, or why not many people fish them, because they're missing out. If you want to catch the truly the biggest bass of your life, you got to get familiar with this lure category. So I'm going to give you guys some tips and advice on them, how to get some bites on them and not just watch everybody else hold up those giant fish. Real quick guys, before we get started, just a couple of the dreaded housekeeping tips here that some people are patient about and other people fast forward to. I just wanted to remind everybody, one of the best ways, guys, if you want to help the channel out and support the content that's going on here, is just check out our View Products tab. When the video starts, at the bottom it says View Products. I put 30 products every day in there that you guys might want to check out, and all you have to do is click once on the product and then click again when it takes you to the product site, and the channel gets credit for that, but you got to click twice on there. So that's the best way you can help support the channel if you want to incline to do that. So much appreciated. Okay guys, let's talk about giant big baits. The two that I'm going to show you guys today, there's a bunch of them out there. There's like, tons of different custom glide baits and swim baits and big California baits. And the thing about them, guys, is I don't care what brand you buy, they're going to be, high dollar, just simply because of the attention to detail and the size of these things. Most of these things are very specific. Some are handmade. They're just labor intensive. That's why they're so expensive. But the two I'm going to talk about today are the Megabass 262T glide bait, which is almost a 12-inch long bait, and then the 10-inch long Megabass Mag Draft. These are the two biggest baits Megabass makes, the two biggest ones I have here. So I'll talk a little bit about each one of those, characteristics of them, what to look for, when to fish them. First of all, guys, there's a window that these things work, and in order for you guys to really get bit on them, you've got to fish during those windows. And the windows, for the most part, are the springtime of the year, and again in the fall time of the year. Spring's going to be better, fall's going to be second time. So really, from the time in the spring, it's like sort of like the late pre-spawn period into the early post-spawn period, I think is the best time to fish the big giant glide baits. And then again in the fall time of the year, like maybe October. So it's not like something you can throw all year long. There's really only 2 times of the year that you can do it. And by the way, guys, these are available at Baitworks. I'll put the link in the description. If you guys want to use that link, it's a good way to help the channel, but you guys can get them at Baitworks there. So window of time is really critical. The next thing that you have to remember is the conditions that you have to have for the fish to actually want to bite these things. One of the things that you're going to notice, and the biggest problem with a giant bait like this, is that not only is it hard to get bites, but it's hard to get to fish even to look at them because they're so massive. And you have got to have the right set of conditions where the mood and the personality of the fish are such where they're actually going to be attracted to these baits. Now, a lot of this has to do with not only that right time of year I'm talking about, but it has to do with the weather conditions. Weather conditions are huge in a situation like this. Not that you can't catch them at any time on them, but the premium conditions that you really want to focus in on are those days where you have a strong southerly airflow and some type of a overcast condition. It can be a heavy, partly cloudy condition, cloudy conditions, rainy, anything like that. But you need some type of situation that breaks up the water surface and creates a lower light level, because these things are so big that one of the big keys on getting bites on them is the fish can't get a real good look at them and study them too close. Now, these things will pull up fish from a long distance away. One of the most frustrating things about fishing a giant bait is you'll get fish coming up and looking at them, and they'll never bite the thing. They'll just sort of slowly, meander up and look around, and they'll look at it and they just sort of swim off. Now, this is the same with any type of giant bait. So having those premium weather conditions is going to be more conducive to get bit on it. So a couple different things you can do to get bit on it here. And one that I'll give credit where credit's due. A lot of what I have learned from the big giant baits is from Oliver Nye. You know, Oliver Nye is arguably the top big bait expert in the United States. And a lot of the stuff that I'm teaching you here is some of the stuff that I've learned from watching Oliver's videos and talking to him. So one of the things, once you get the premium conditions up there, the next thing you have to do is make the right presentation with these. And we'll talk a little bit about areas here in a second. But the presentation you have to have with these, this is a 6-ounce bait, guys, a 6-ounce bait. So if you put these baits on a flipping stick, a heavy action flipping stick, it feels like the flipping stick's gonna break. You need like an 8-foot long heavy action rod. I use that Megabass Warhammer coupled up with 25-pound test Seaguar and Vizix line. I use 25-pound test and Vizix for all these things here. And that combination allows me to cast the bait, number one, because one of the biggest challenges you're gonna have with these things is just lobbing them out there, man. When these things hit the water, it's like throwing a 6-ounce brick in the water. It's like they hit the water and go like that. I mean, it's just super loud when you hit the fish. But it's really important that you get a long cast, because the long cast is critical to bringing fish out of different depths of water. And the more that this bait is in the water, the better chances that you're going to have to get bit on it. So I've always done better on them as far as making the longest cast that I possibly can. Another thing is when you're working the bait. I like to work the bait there's two different ways. On a glide bait, I work it like a jerk bait. If you reel this thing straight through the water, it's going to naturally just sort of go like that. But if you jerk it, it goes like that, and you can stop it, and it'll suspend, and you jerk it back the other way, and it suspends. That's how I've got the most action on it. And if I see a fish behind it, say I'm working it like that, and I see a fish tracking it, I'll speed it up real fast, or just like that. Because if you see a fish on behind the bait and you just keep working the bait the way it is, 9 times out of 10 they're not going to bite it. But if you speed it up, you're going to have to give them that chance. They can't hesitate. They either have to get it, they think it's getting away from them, or they're going to shy away from it. So speed it up on the glide baits. Now the big swim baits are different. The big swim baits, like the Mag Draft here, I usually just use a medium slow retrieve, and I let the bait do all the work. You know, on the Mag Draft, you know, the head moves a little bit, and you got that big tail wagging along on there. But I just use like a slow medium retrieve, and once in a while I'll just give a quick snap with the reel handle just to, like, you know, pull it up a little bit, and then I'll start working again, maybe pull it up a little bit, but it's pretty much just a straight retrieve on that. So that's the presentations. Now the next area that we're going to talk about is where you want to fish this thing. One of the things that you're going to find out about big baits like this is that you have to sort of be in a situation where the fish can come up on the bait. So therefore, these baits will get the most strikes if you fish them over a little bit deeper water, or at least have some type of deeper water nearby. You're not going to catch many fish on these big giant baits, guys, just throwing them up in shallow water. I like to have either a combination of like a main lake or secondary point where I'm fan casting all over the point and the fish can come up out of deeper water, some type of a channel swing, a bluff bank, something like that, a steep bank that drops off into deep water, because it seems like to me that you've got to have some water depth underneath you, because the success I have had on it is bringing those fish up off the bottom instead of bringing them horizontally. So therefore I want a little bit deeper water. Another area they work really good on is some type of deeper grass bed. Now, the swim baits themselves, like I said, we are talking specifically about the giant ones. If you start downsizing like into the 6 to 8 inch sizes, then it opens up some more scenarios to get bit on. But as far as for the big mamas like this, those are the best situations for that. And finally, guys, the key, and one of the reasons a lot of people don't ever catch fish on them, is you can't put it down. This is a bait that you are not going to get many bites on. If you go out in a day's fishing, if you throw the 262T out there, or any other glide bait that's made, period, that's of this size, if you get 2 to 5 bites a day, you've had a really good day. I mean, a really good day. Be prepared to throw the thing all day long and not get a bite, but the thing that keeps you on it is the size of the fish. I mean, you have got a true chance to catch your own personal best bass on this thing. And the people that are successful with really big glide bait and swim baits are the people that pick it up in the morning and they don't put it down. They throw it all day long looking for 1 or 2 bites. That's just how they fish it. And you got those big bass experts like Oliver and I, they'll fish for 8 or 10, 12 hours a day just for 1 bite all day long. That's what they're looking for. So it sort of requires a shift in mentality a little bit. But anyway, give them a try, guys. If you want to do something off the wall, I would not recommend these as tournament baits. This is something that you, unless you got a good limit and you want to try to catch a kicker, but this is something that it's situational. When you get the right set of situations and you want to try to catch a giant bass, give them a try, because there's not a better way to catch them. So hope it helps out. We'll talk to you guys later.